What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight's live show. All about the Big Ten. And they're back. Kinda. Don't worry, we're going to get into it here in just a little bit. Of course, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to give everybody an opportunity to go ahead and join the channel, join the stream, be part of the show. If you're watching this secondhand, go around. If you didn't catch us live, so sorry we missed you. Hopefully, we'll catch you on the next live one. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share. If you guys are here, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you're watching this as a later on, go ahead and hit the thumbs up there as well. We've just reached 2750 on our subscriber number, so really greatly appreciate that. Trying to get to that magical 3,000. So, you feeling okay there, Mr. Bombi?
Mm-hmm.
He's excited because we got a new mask for those guys to go play airsoft in, and also got a new airsoft rifle for his sister, so they can go and shoot each other and leave me alone for a couple hours on Friday. He's got the Georgia hat on, rocking under there. So, anyways, what's going on, guys? How are you guys doing today? Let me go ahead and pull some of this stuff up. Big 10. There we go. So as you guys saw, I put up a video earlier today. Oh, what's going on, Kevin? Put up a video earlier today. I need to get rid of that. Excuse me. I don't know why that is still there. Nope, that's not. Hashtag professional. Let me tell you. There we go. Oh, maybe the show will begin soon. I'm not sure. So how's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Wife made some wonderful Angus beef stew. It was incredibly good. Never had it like that before. The way she made it was phenomenal. So, all right. Looks like the vote was confirmed, apparently. I didn't know that the vote was confirmed. Apparently that was done yesterday, but I didn't hear anything about it, so it was hard for me to say yay. That was apparently confirmed through the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel source. League set to officially announce. I found it, like somebody said it on like a Facebook ad or a Facebook post or something, and then I found it on I went straight to Big Ten's website, which, by the way, their website's kind of meh. Apparently, the news was originally leaked by Nebraska President Ted Carter, and they said everything was done. They were just waiting to announce it. Hey, what's going on, Steve? Welcome to the show, man. So, yeah. Whew. Man. So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Not sure what everybody thinks, but obviously the big thing that we're going to talk about is the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, I think everybody's looking to see how those guys are going to do. And, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know of any other team right now in the Big Ten that is going to be a potential playoff team other than Ohio State. Nebraska State, I mean, Husker Gray, you're a great guy and everything, man, but, geez, I just don't know. Supposedly unanimous. You know, if it was unanimous, it was because somebody didn't want to be the odd guy out in case the vote was close and like they pushed it over to the side or something. They didn't want to be that guy because the pressure was tremendous. So yeah.
Okay, fine. Here.
Let me see that. What you got there, baby girl? Yep, it's coming along. You gotta paint it now.
Does it look better?
Looks much better.
Okay, good.
So they're all excited about these masks and stuff, man.
Wow.
What's going on, Crimson Brave? So before we get too far into the show here, I'm going to do a thank you to all of my members here, guys who have signed up to become members to support the channel. We really appreciate those guys. What's going on the bet? It was the member list is as follows. We've got Web Payne, Jermaine Dunbar Trucking, Adam Ivy, UGA, Sergeant AR 10, Dwayne RTR, Michael Porter, and Stray Dog. We really appreciate those guys signing up. It does help the channel. The more members we have, the further the channel is going to progress. I'm currently looking at trying to get t-shirts to give away. So that way, when we got members after they've been with the channel for 3 to 6 months, we can get those guys a t-shirt for the channel, as well as having some to give away to this to give away on the show. Husker Gray, if you'll go to on my YouTube channel, if you look just below, you'll see a button that says join, and then you can pick which level you want to become a member at. It's only $2 a month, so it's not terribly expensive. I do have different levels, a $2, a $5, and a $10, and each one of those you get different benefits depending on which one you sign up for. Crimson, they're banned from BVD's live stream. How you get banned from BVD's live stream, man? That guy is so easy to get along with, man. Yeah, Crimson. Yes, Crimson, thanks to stupid Bama Marine. Man, there's a lot of Bama fans out there. A lot of Bama fans out there. Get this thing closed out. Yeah, so anyway, just timed out. So yeah, we're currently at 7 members. We'd like to see 10 before the season starts. You know, is what it is. But anyway, appreciate you guys for joining the show. Share the channel. That'd be great. We greatly appreciate it. So the teams of the Big Ten, if you guys don't know, is the University of Illinois, Indiana, Indiana University, University of Iowa, University of Maryland, University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Purdue University, Penn State University, Ohio State University, Northwestern University, University of Nebraska, University of Minnesota, University of Wisconsin, and Rutgers University. So Big Dog, why did you say university for all of those? So that you can understand how ridiculous it sounds for someone to call Ohio State the Ohio State. There's only one. There's only one. So why would you call them the Ohio State? You might as well say the hey, what's up, Webpain? You might as well say the University of Georgia, the University of Alabama, the University of Florida. It's just ridiculous. Everybody knows who you are. So knock it off. A lot of rain today. Tired of rain. Not me, sir. I enjoy the rain. I like it when it rains. All them bandwagon Bama fans. Now, there are a lot of bandwagon Bama fans, but there are a lot of Bama fans that are not. It's kind of interesting. And I really think that some of the fans that are not bandwagon fans, they don't like the bandwagon fans of any team, man. They just don't. I'm glad the Big Ten is back. However, I'm not a fan of them starting so late in October. That was one of the things I kind of addressed in the show earlier, was that them starting so late in the season, they had to go 8 teams and no bye weeks to be able to get in under the radar to make the playoffs. So there's the link. Just posted it in the chat for you guys. If you want to join the show, you know what to do. Hit the button. Hit the button. So that'll get you in here with yours truly. There is no there's no compensation involved by being on with me for what may occur to your mental faculties. By the way, today's show is brought to you by a new group that I have just created called DD Whammo. It's called Don't Drive with a Mask On. You look ridiculous. DD Whammo. You know, when you're riding down the road and, you know, everybody does it. They just kind of see who's in the next lane. And then you see a dude or a woman or whatever riding by themselves and they got a mask on. Who are you protecting yourself from in that car? Or what's worse is you'll see like a husband and wife, and you know it's husband and wife. You know when you see them. Both of them are sitting there with a mask on, looking at each other. It's like, unless this is like a really weird Uber, why y'all got a mask on? You can take it off. Y'all live together, man. I don't know. If you want to wear your mask in your car, I guess go ahead. But I just think it makes you look a little bit silly. Anyway, you've been guilty of forgetting to take yours off in car for a few works. That's one thing, man. But when you're driving down the interstate at 80 miles an hour, you see a dude over there with his mask on. It's just, You're like, come on, man. I can't wait to take mine off. I can't wait. I'm so ready to take mine off. Once I get about 10 feet away from somebody, I'm like, I can breathe again, because it makes my facial hair itch, man. It makes me itch just thinking about it. Do I think the Pac-12 is going to join? I think it's too late for them. I think if they didn't have it put together by now, they're not going to be able to get in. It's just not going to happen. What's going on out? Just rocks. All is well, man. Doing some work in South Dakota for a bit. Hey, man, glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. Yeah, I'm with you, Kevin. As soon as I get a chance, man, it comes off, dude. It comes off. Sometimes there's only one person in the car and they're still wearing a mask. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I just – and I know sometimes it's an accident for some people because they've been wearing it for so long to get so used to it. But I'm like, man, now I know what all them women talk about when they say they get home and they can take that you-know-what off. I feel the same way with my mask, man. I just can't wait to take that thing off. So what are you talking about? Car equals a no mask on for me. Yeah, me too, man. So here's what they got. So let's kind of talk about the Big Ten here. The Big Ten.
I just shot myself.
You dummy.
I didn't realize there was a bullet chamber in your gun. Ow.
These kids. We got them airsoft rifles.
They ricochet off the wall and you're right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's the number one rule I always teach you? Treat every gun as if it's. Hold on.
Shoot it. Like, I picked it up and it went boom and it went. I was like, oh.
But let me ask you a question. Did you treat it like it was gonna go off, or did you just grab a hold of it? No, you didn't.
Really did.
No, you didn't.
I picked it up and went boom. Oh.
These kids, man.
Oh.
Anyway, so back to the Big Ten here. Does the Big Ten deserve to be ranked higher or lower? I would say low at this point. You big Demi. I would say very low, because not only that's correct, Keith. He didn't, or else it wouldn't have gone boom or click in this event. Don't think I'm gonna come over there and run away with that giant pork shoulder you smoked, man. That thing was delicious. So all right. So since we're kind of waiting for some more people to jump on, I'll go ahead and give you guys my breakdown on how you do a pork shoulder. Everybody does it different, but this is how I do mine. You guys saw how mine turned out. Or maybe you didn't. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Maybe this will show up. Let me see here. Let me see if I hold this up for y'all, see if y'all can see that. Hit it one more time for you here. Ooh. There we go. Watch how that wheel that came apart. Look, just falling apart. That's how you do it right there. So with mine, we soak it for about 12 hours in apple cider vinegar, or apple cider. I can't remember. One of them. It's upstairs. Does Lou ever stop by his streams? Yeah, Lou drops in here from time to time. Texas is not back, sir. Husker Gray is a closet Buckeye fan. So you take it, you marinate it, you soak it entirely in the refrigerator overnight, 12 hours. And then the next day you take it, you pat it down, you get it with like paper towels, you get it nice and dry. You cover it with mustard, and then you put your brown sugar mix of seasoning, whatever seasonings you want to use, and you coat the whole thing. Flip it over, coat the whole thing. You take that, put it in your smoker, and you smoke it at about 220 degrees for about 10 hours. Now, every now and then, I'll go out there and I'll add some apple-soaked wood chips to it, give it that smoke ring, that smoke flavor to it, and then just cook it until the internal temperature on that thing is about 170 degrees. I have cooked it at 180, 190 and it not come out dry, but I don't like taking that chance. But you do that, bring it inside, cut the fat cap off, start start taking your Wolverine claws and separating it up, and then start cutting all the fat out of it. Nice. Get some every time. My other favorite dish, which I don't think I've ever made on the channel, I have a mixture, a batter that's a lot like the onion rings. That's a lot like the batter that you see at Long John Silver's or Captain D's. I don't know if everybody has a Long John Silver's, but Captain D's, that panko, I don't know if it's panko, but it's super crunchy. I take that and I use white onions and I wrap bacon around the onion. I drive a wooden toothpick through it. I dip it in the batter and then I fry it. And then when that comes out, I use a smoky ranch to go with it, with a little bit of hot sauce. So yeah, it's pretty intense. Those don't stick around long. They take forever to make though. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this down in the stream here. If you guys want to join the show, feel free. So the Big Ten, apparently, they're going to have 8 games. So that means everybody's going to play 8. Obviously, everybody's going to play 8. But the question is that how are they going to do this? Because they've got 14 teams. So there's 6 teams are not going to play, and it makes you wonder what kind of schedule like they're going to give Ohio State. Are they going to make it into like a division style where they have 7 on one side and 7 on the other side and then do one cross-division rival? I'm not sure how they're planning on doing that. Hey, what's going on, CJ Canes? How's it going, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. That'd be awesome if you guys could do that. Yeah. Feel free to join the show if you guys have any things you want to talk about, how you guys feel about it. Let me know. Glad to help out. Give you my opinion, whether you want it or not. Oh, I guess BVD's on a little earlier tonight, man. Normally BVD is like he normally runs later in the show. What's up, Jason S? An AC like schedule for Ohio State. Yeah, pretty much, man. Let's see. Let me pick out the schedule for Ohio State. I'm gonna say Northwestern, Nebraska, Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, Maryland, the Sparties at Michigan State, and then probably Wisconsin or Purdue. They're gonna leave a bunch of them out, man. Pac-12 is not gonna play, man. They're too far removed, man. Let me see. Are you trolling me? You got to be trolling me. 51 minutes ago. So unless you know something unless you know something I don't know here. Let's see. The Pac-12 welcomes today's statements by Governor Newsom and California. Rapid results. Let's see. Our California and Oregon universities will now each individually and immediately reach out to the relevant county public health officials to seek clarification on what is required to achieve the same clearance and to resume contact practice and competition. We are eager for our student athletes to have the opportunity to play this season as soon as it can be done safely and in accordance with public health officials. Let's see. The quicker than anticipated arrival of daily testing is a big step towards college football, but one Pac-12 source told CBS Sports Dennis Dodd that it would be a huge hurdle for the league to pull off for fall 2020. The ability to play or not play football has always been out of the university's control. So with that having been said, it's highly unlikely that they are going to be able to play. BVD is 8 to 10 on nights he's on. He was on the other night, pretty late. What is my reaction to Georgia Tech beating FSU? That's my reaction. I think it's hilarious, man. I mean, you think about it. A team with his first year, they still the team with their first year, they come out and beat FSU. It's like, come on, man. FSU couldn't do anything. Didn't get to see what Rattler looked like because it costs $40 just to watch. Not wasting $40 to see our team play a team we haven't heard of before. I agree with that. That was terrible. I don't know, Keith. I don't really see a way that the Pac-12 is going to be able to get it together because basically they've got to come out within the next week to be able to pull it off because, I mean, let me do this. So if you look at the Pac-12, they've got 1, 2, 3. I got to count them these days because you never know. One might sneak one in on us. Okay, so they still have 12. What's going on, Greg? Welcome to the channel, man. What's up, Sean Stapleton? Let's see here. University of Arizona, Arizona State, University of California, University of California, University of Colorado, Oregon, Oregon State, Southern Cal, Stanford, Utah, Washington, and Washington State. So the big hurdles here are going to have to get the University of California Golden Bears, which is Baylor, I think. You got to get University of California, University of Oregon, Oregon State, SoCal, and probably the University of Washington and Washington State to all agree that it's safe to come back and play football. I don't know. Brett, the last time Florida had a running game in Atlanta, I can't name the last time Florida had a running game at all. Ever. Never mind Atlanta. No, I think it was one year, about 4 or 5 years ago, they had a pretty good running back, but I can't remember who it is, man. Nebraska to the SEC. How in the world can you say Nebraska is in the Southeast Conference? Now, I understand all these other conferences get confused, like the ACC, the Atlantic Coastal Conference. There's teams that ain't even on the Atlantic Coast. And the Big Ten, I don't even know what that is. The Big 12, nobody knows what that means because neither one of the teams have 10 or 12 teams. And then you've got the Pac-12, which is 12 teams. But not all of those teams are on the Pacific. No. So, yeah. What's going on, Daniel? Jeff Collins tore through some Waffle House back after that mystery. Hey, there was a guy. Oh, God, what was his name? I got his autograph. Oh, I feel so bad for not remembering his name. I met one of the guys who played for Coach Dooley, and I got his autograph at the Waffle House of all places. He came up to me because he saw I had my Georgia stuff on. He asked me if I was a Georgia fan, and I said, "Yeah, I'm a huge Georgia fan." And he got to talking to me. He was telling me, like, he played football for Georgia, and I mean, guy was like 70-something years old. It's cool, man. What's going on, Jay? Well, FSU is a dumpster fire, and so is the swamp. That place caught on fire and almost burned to the ground, man. And the sad news is you still couldn't tell the difference. So yeah, Florida fans, I got to rag on you a little bit. You know how it is. So yeah, I just don't. Yeah, but I don't really see. I don't really. But to get back to what Keith was saying, I don't know, man. I don't see a way that the Pac-12 can climb back in at this point, just with the number of practices you have to get in, and just a lot of that other stuff. You thought I was a Notre Dame fan back in the day, man? What made you think that, man? You over here trolling me, Dave? Who is going to be QB1 at UGA? Golly, isn't that a heck of a question? So I'm going to go ahead and add Kevin to the live stream here. Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Hey, Brett. How's it going?
How's it going, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question here. Somebody just brought it up in the chat, so I'm going to ask you: who do you think QB1 is going to be?
I believe it's going to be Dwan Mathis, at least the first game anyway. I'm not sure if JT Daniels is cleared yet.
So why do you think that?
Well, I've been reading that he's doing pretty good in scrimmaging. So, him and Beck both, they said, doing pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know if JT Daniels is still nursing his knee or whatever, or what.
Greg just said Stetson Bennett. I hope not.
Stetson Bennett. He's the water boy.
Man, Stetson Bennett is like, how can I explain Stetson Bennett to people who don't know Stetson Bennett? Stetson Bennett was like that one kid that sucked at basketball, but was always at the court. So, like, if you needed one more guy, he was there. And you're like, damn, I don't really want to put this guy in, but he's always here. So just, all right, come on, man. Don't do too much. Just
last one to get picked.
Yeah, I want you to focus on getting to pass the ball as much as you can. I want you to have 30 passes in this game. but not very far, just really short, really close. Just get rid of it quickly. I don't want you to think too much because that's a problem for you.
He'll run every now and then, but he trips over his own feet sometimes.
Man, he trips over stuff that isn't there, man. So the other problem is that with the QB situation being what it is, nobody really has the inside track except the coaches and these quarterbacks. That's the only ones that really know. Because it doesn't seem like anybody's really running away with it. Like nobody's like just, overwhelming everybody else with their talent, which I guess is a good thing. Dwan Mathis has been around the program for a lot longer than anybody else, with the exception of Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
Dwan Mathis went, and this is what Kirby Smart said, Dwan Mathis went with the number twos, took all snaps for the number twos and the scout team last year. So he's familiar with what Kirby Smart's looking for. Now, some of that kind of gets tossed to the wayside whenever you throw in James Nally. What's going on, man?
The new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, new offensive coordinator. When Todd Monken comes into the mix, it's really hard to say, how is that going to play out? Now, somebody pointed out earlier that Todd Monken has never had a dual threat quarterback, which is true. But Todd Monken also doesn't build a team based off of what he wants to have. He builds a team off of what he already has and makes those he builds his team based on the tools he has. He doesn't try to make something out of nothing. He says, okay, I got 3 great running backs. We're going to run the ball a lot, and we're going to pass some. I got 5 great wide receivers, and we're going to pass a lot and run the ball some. That's kind of what he does.
Yeah. So what do you think about Kirby letting Justin Fields into practice now that they might be playing? They could play each other in the playoffs. He's already seen them practice.
Well, I don't think it's any big secret as to what's going on. I don't think anything Justin Fields sees in practice is going to make it. Justin Fields is not going to be able to relay some kind of magnificent information back to the coaches about what Georgia was doing in week 1 of a scrimmage or week 2 of a scrimmage. Because by the time we get to play them, the offense is going to evolve anyway. So, I mean, the defense is what the defense is. I mean, the guys we have, we're going to be able to snap the ball and come right at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dwan Mathis is starting QB1, not even a tough decision. I kind of agree with that, James. It's not a real popular opinion right now just because there's people that's leaning towards the JT Daniels camp. But I really think that Dwan Mathis is likely the starter because technically he's already cleared to play. He has been with the team the longest behind Stetson Bennett. And I feel like he adds a lot more options to the team that Georgia was probably already working on with the thought that they were going to have Jamie Newman. So I don't think it would be smart. I don't think it would be smart to start Daniels over Mathis in game 1 if he isn't cleared yet. I mean, they're going to clear the guy whenever they clear the guy. And right now, it might be just coaches muddying the water so that other teams can't tell who we're going to play.
Yeah, I hope they all get to play the first game. See what everybody's got.
Is the stream skipping really bad, man?
Not for me.
Okay. Is anybody else getting a problem with the stream skipping? Or is it just Jay?
I mean, it could be YouTube. I don't know. As far as StreamYard,
Maybe.
it seems like it's doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not having any problems on my end, but yeah, Aaron Murray did come out and say that he liked him, but he was going against the second team. So, I mean, what do you say with that? And Kirby Smart's already said that there is a huge difference between the ones and twos. I mean, it's hard to say. Somebody said Husker Gray said Penn State's going to win the Big Ten. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think with a second year under his belt, that Justin Fields is going to be scary good. That's what I think.
Yeah, now we have the possibility of him winning the championship with Georgia.
Wouldn't surprise me, man. It would not surprise me. It just seems to be the curse of Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's got a worse curse, the Dogs or the Cubs. Joe Burrow looked good in his. He said Joe Burrow looked good in his first game.
Yeah, Cubs won 100 years, didn't they?
Jeez, man, it's terrible.
We only did 40.
only 40. Hey, I ain't got another 60 in me, brother.
I know.
I don't have another 60. I might have another 50. Yeah. But by the time I get to 100 years old, if they win the national championship, it would probably kill me.
Yeah, I was too young to remember the last time, so.
I just made the cut, man.
Yeah. I still got some of those old Coke bottles, though.
I got one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's up there. Right up there, right by my spinning helmet.
Yeah.
I had one, and it got broken, and I had to replace it. But the one that the second one I got, I actually was I had went and bought something off of Facebook Marketplace, and when I went to pick it up, I wear Georgia stuff everywhere I go. I have so much stuff that's Georgia stuff. When I showed up, she goes, "Oh, you're a Georgia fan?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a big Georgia fan." She goes, "Oh, well, do you think you want this?" And she brought it out, and I was like, "Yeah, what do you want for it?" She goes, "Well, if you want it and you'll appreciate it, you can have it." I'm like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. You got any more? Bring them all out.
I told her, I said, I'll take all you got. So yeah, it was that was a good day, but I don't know, man. It's just looking at this quarterback situation, obviously I'm a little bit concerned. Quarterback position always seems to be a place of contention at UGA. Can't play the what if game. What if Eason, Fields, and Fromm all stayed? Can't even go down that road. Don't matter anyway. We finally have a dual threat quarterback. That's legit. I want Mathis to play. I've said that since day one. I mean, not only would I love to see this guy play, I would love to see this guy take us to a national championship. Not just because it would be awesome to finally win a national championship, but it would be awesome to see such a Cinderella story for a kid. What a great motivational story that is down the road. Is you're like, man, I graduated high school and I went to University of Georgia and I thought I was going to play and I was the second guy in position. And then I came down with a brain tumor and then they had to go in and do brain surgery. And, then I spent all in the off season fighting to get back. And then I had to fight against a 5-star transfer, and I got the starting job. And then, we went on to win the national championship. So what's your excuse for not doing what you should do? It's like,
Plus, go ahead. He was supposed to go to Ohio State, and then when Justin Fields transferred over there, that's when he switched to Georgia.
Yeah.
Also.
Yep. Well, James is right. I don't want to see him run it up the middle 40 times a game. James Coley, no. Jim Chaney used to do that, man, and it used to make my blood pressure go up. It got so bad I couldn't watch. I could not watch.
I'm like, y'all don't have any toss sweeps or anything?
Man, Georgia used to run the devil out of some jet sweeps, man, and then we quit. And I was just like, dude, this is not a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I could see the wide receivers running some of those sweeps and end arounds or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who was it? Who was it last year? golly, I can't remember. Scored his first touchdown as a tight end at Georgia in his senior year. It's like, wait a minute. What? How's that even possible? And then sure enough, he'd only scored one touchdown his entire career at UGA.
Are you talking about a tight end, you said?
Yeah, it was a tight end.
Oh, that was probably, what was his name? Shit.
See, same thing happened to me. I knew it and I
Warner?
forgot it.
Charlie Warner?
It might have been Charlie Warner. Might have been. But I mean, that's definitely something that other coaches know and realize is that, okay, when Georgia gets in the red zone, they're never going to throw it to a tight end, so you really don't have to cover that guy. You know?
And Georgia used to use the tight ends a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know, at least in the early Mark Richt days, it seemed like.
Yep. Well, Mark Richt, I mean, Mark Richt just I can't even go the Wild Dog won the Rose Bowl. It did. When I watch when I go back and I watch the Mark Richt games and I watch that how we played the team looks completely different now. And it looks like it's taken a little while for Georgia to figure out and develop its own identity. We've got a great defense, but the offense is just missing something. I go back and I watch Jake Fromm's highlights, and I'm like, this is not a 5-star quarterback. It's not. And then you go watch Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You go watch Justin Fields, and you're like, oh, my God, dude. This guy's unbelievable. What happened? What happened is that Georgia doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks. Jim Chaney was never interested in developing a quarterback because either you had the talent or you didn't. And I can give you proof that Georgia didn't develop quarterbacks because Aaron Murray was an outstanding quarterback at Georgia, but they didn't ever make him better because once he went pro, he was terrible. He tried the NFL, the AAL, whatever that was, ALF, whatever program that was, and now I think he's trying the XFL.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't knock the guy for trying. He's like the Colt Bennett of freaking college football. Have you ever seen The Ranch?
The Ranch?
Have you ever
No.
The Ranch? Yeah, on Netflix.
No.
You should watch that. It's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
And
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. It's hilarious, man. It is absolutely hilarious. Well, anyway, that's if you have a Netflix subscription, and I'm not getting into that. I watched it years ago, but anyway, Colt Bennett was a quarterback who had tried to go pro and ended up not making the team, and he came back home to the family ranch and cattle ranch, and then just his storyline from there, and it's just hilarious. It's basically that '70s show, but a cattle ranch. It's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, to get back to the Big Ten and what they're going to do, there is no happier team right now than Ohio State. All the other teams are like, okay, we'll play. Maybe Iowa, because Iowa has a lot of traditions. They're pretty deep, but man, I just don't know of any other team. Maybe Michigan State, maybe Michigan.
I thought Penn State was going to have a good shot, but I think they had a couple players opt out.
Yeah, but Penn State had was it Micah Parsons? Pretty sure.
I think so.
I think he went to Micah Parsons, man. That guy's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But now that he's gone, I mean, he's a linebacker, but he's a defensive player. So how greatly does that affect them? I don't know. Maybe a lot, maybe not much.
So they're only playing 8 games. Everybody else is playing like 10 or 11 games. So,
well, I think everybody else is playing a lot more games than they are. But the other part is that they are, and I was going to talk about this earlier and forgot about it. Right now, the Big Ten is tremendously behind the curve because all the other teams are going to continue to play and get better. So by the time we get to the playoffs, yeah, they're going to have played 2 games more, but they're going to have a lot more practice time because they're going to have a bye week thrown in there. Plus, they've already had all their practices and scrimmage games and whatnot. there's no way that you're going to be able to start the college football season a month behind, almost a month and a half behind the rest of Power 5 football and expect to be able to compete at the end of the year. It's just, I don't believe it. Yeah. Are you asking? I think Husker Gray just asked if I was a Georgia Tech fan before. I have never been a Georgia Tech fan, sir. Ever. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that feel bad for DeAndre Swift, don't feel bad for him, because I can promise you right now that guy feels bad enough all by himself. That, I mean, to even get the opportunity as a freshman to get out there and do that, just, yeah, incredible. And he almost had it. I mean, it was really close. And first of all, if your best play is the touchdown pass to the running back, you might want to question your coach.
I didn't even know they picked up Adrian Peterson.
I didn't know that either.
That's why he wasn't getting many snaps, I guess.
Yeah, I used to watch the Falcons years ago, just like I used to watch the Braves years ago, and I got so burnt out on watching those guys just break my heart. The only thing I have left is college football. So with them, now it's a win, lose, or draw. I'm with the Dogs. So I'm gonna add in Mr. Big Dog Keith here. What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
Hey, Keith.
Okay. How's it going, Kevin?
Yeah. So what's your thoughts there, sir, on this whole the Big Ten? Please let us into the prom late scenario.
I mean, I think I'm glad they're in. I mean, more the merrier.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm really concerned about is, I think somebody may have brought this up earlier in the chat, is how is the playoff committee going to compare an 8-game schedule to a 10-game schedule? Are they gonna get punished for not playing as many games?
Well,
we go back to the situation that we mentioned last week, where you have a 1 or 2 loss SEC team sitting there that didn't even participate in an SEC championship game, and meanwhile you got, you have Ohio State or somebody sitting over there in that conference going 7-1 when you got a 9-1 SEC team. I mean, how are they going to,
So I guess, would you? I think part of it is going to be determined by the win, like how many wins you have. I think if you have a team, because of this year and the way everything is so screwed up, I think the 2-loss thing is off the table. Now, they've never put in a 2-loss team, but I think with the way things are now, you kind of have to take that off the table. Because the strength of schedule, especially in the SEC, I can't remember the last time that the SEC only played the SEC.
Right. The strength of schedules are up across the table for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody should get credit for playing a tougher schedule this year.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I'm going to add one more guy in here. Is it okay if I drop you off, man?
Yeah, I was about to leave anyway. I think I gotta do something real quick anyway. So
all right, man.
I'll just stay in the chat for a little bit.
Take this dog with you, man.
All right,
all right, later, buddy. All right, I'm gonna add in another guy here. What's going on, Daniel?
What's up, sir? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you holding up?
Hey, Daniel, how's it going, man?
I am holding up, sir. I am holding up.
And yes, I know it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm drinking coffee.
It's all good. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes, sir. So what's your thoughts on this thing, Daniel?
Yeah, the quarterback situation.
Yes, sir.
Which is always a situation in Athens. So I hear it's DeJuan Mathis, man. I mean, from what I hear, he's the guy going into Arkansas. And the main reason I hear that is because of the offensive line. Losing what we lost in the tackle position.
Right.
It was kind of a situation where I think the line could block a lot better doing run blocking than pass blocking. And so, if you got a quarterback that can get you 3 yards with their feet, obviously that's Mathis more than JT Daniels at this juncture.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think it's going to be a lot of kind of pound the rock, zone read kind of stuff with Mathis. and we'll see if that's good enough against an Alabama. I think we're going to need a little bit more out of the pocket in that juncture. But I think Daniels of the two is probably the more polished pocket passer. But at this juncture, you have to go with Mathis just because of his athletic ability, I think. So,
Well, I got to tell you, I know that we've got Mathis is there, and he's got a lot of mobility with his feet. And you've got JT Daniel, which is a legitimate threat, especially with the pass. But I really think that having Carson Beck to come in and do some mop up and some cleanup is really good for him as well. I think Carson Beck is going to be the future, and it's going to put Brock Vandergriff another year back.
I don't know, man. I think that Vandergriff is going to be the heir apparent. I think the guy they got in there, right, whoever they have in here for this year is going to be kind of a stopgap, I think.
Yeah.
Either Mathis or Daniels. I mean, Daniels would have another year of eligibility. I think those two are probably our best quarterbacks. I mean, Carson, I think he's a step up over Stetson, but I mean, I saw DeJuan, like you did a couple years ago in that spring game, and he was raw, man. I mean, he was good. You could see the athletic ability. You could see he had a good arm, but he was definitely 2 or 3 steps behind Jake Fromm at that juncture. Not athletically speaking, just in terms of connecting with the receivers and things like that. But I mean, who knows how he is right now, given his, deal in the offense. I don't know.
Well, I remember whenever me and Keith actually went to that game, and I remember watching him play, and I went, "Wow, this guy's going to be a talent."
Yeah.
I didn't think that he was not what UGA needed. I wasn't thinking anything along those lines. I was watching him play, and I was scouting him as the up and coming talent because you could see that in him.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think the defense is ready, and I think the inside of our offensive line is good, but it's just that tackle position, which is going to be a determining factor, I think, on that offensive line because, losing what we lost there. I mean, we might have feasible talent, but, I mean, we lost 2 really NFL caliber, high-profile guys there.
Oh, yeah.
That's contingent upon everything on the offense, I think. So,
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I'm looking at right now is that while I'm not as concerned about the number one offense, I'm really the number one offensive line. I'm really concerned about the number twos as a whole because as much as coaches like to keep stuff close to the vest, Kirby Smart has come out and said on multiple occasions that the gap between the ones and the twos is pretty substantial. And that concerns me because when we start getting late in the games, when we have to start cycling in those twos more, I'm concerned about what is the drop-off going to be, especially if we sustain an injury, which every team sustains injuries all year long.
Yeah.
Given that we're playing tougher teams this year with almost no breaks, I'm really concerned about what that drop-off is.
Yeah. I mean, I think that – well, I mean, I think – and another thing, too, with the COVID-19 is the whole deal of if these guys get COVID-19 and have to sit out for 2 weeks, I mean, our number twos have to be ready to go. I mean, at any given moment.
For sure.
So –
yeah, you're seeing that across the board in all sports right now.
Yep.
For sure. The depth is really, really showing itself, exposing other teams for sure.
I think that when you start looking at teams like let's talk about the deepest teams in college football right now. Alabama.
Yeah.
Clemson. Georgia. Florida. Tennessee's starting to get there. Michigan's actually really deep, whether people know it or not. Minnesota, while you may not think they're as deep, their talent across their whole roster is pretty even. And Notre Dame's got depth, and Ohio State's got depth. After that, I don't really know many teams that do.
Yeah, I just have a feeling we're going to see JT Daniels sometime this year. And
Yeah.
I think in terms of a skill set that's actually going to beat Alabama, we got to be able to throw the ball on those guys. We're just
Absolutely.
not going to run into a box with Alabama and think we're going to win that game. I mean, we've proven that the last couple times we've played them. So if we can't go point to point with those guys, we're not beating them, and that's just the reality.
If we hadn't have had the passing game that we had against against Oklahoma, we wouldn't have beat Oklahoma running the ball.
Yeah. And they had a horrible defense too.
Yes, exactly.
I definitely think it's becoming clear at this point that Mathis is going to be the starter game one. I mean, I don't see them clearing JT Daniels and having him start a game in less than 2 weeks now. I mean, that's I mean, I know he's been practicing, but that's just crazy talk. So I think Mathis is going to start game one, and then I think from there it's just going to be a fluid situation. I think Kirby's going to go with the hot hand. If Mathis goes out there and lights it up, I mean,
Yeah.
That Auburn game is going to be in week 2 is going to be telling. If Mathis goes out there and has a great game, I mean, I think that's it. I think you're going to be looking at a Franz Eason situation. I don't think JT Daniels sees the light of day if he goes out there and lights up the board in the first 2 weeks. Well, and hopefully he does. I mean, it's like you said, that's a great story for that kid.
Yeah, and especially considering that from all intents and purposes, and I mean, there's people closer to the program than we are that has made comments that one likes the way this quarterback looks, and then one says they like the way this quarterback looks, and another one says this. All that tells me is that there is no clear differentiation between any of these guys. So it's anybody's game. Yeah. And if that's the case, if you've got to make me pick right now who I want, regardless of backstory, regardless of talent level, regardless of any of that stuff, I'm picking DeJuan Mathis because he's a dual threat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end of the story.
Yeah, and I look at it like this too. I mean, I think that defense is good enough to get Georgia to 6 to 7 wins. Mm-hmm. The question is, you have those 4 games on your schedule that you need a quarterback to show up in: Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and probably like a Tennessee. So, out of these 2 or 3 quarterbacks, which one of these quarterbacks can go 2-2 or 3-1 in that 4-game stretch? Because if they're going 1-3 or 0-4, then we just don't have good enough talent back there.
So one of the biggest Achilles heels that Georgia has had in recent years is Georgia wanting to claim the title of RBU, right? I'm okay with being running back U, but I don't want to have running back U at the sacrifice of not putting enough focus on the passing game. And that's what we've done. We've had incredible, you could argue, generational talent with Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift. You can say that we've had generational talent with those 3 guys. And I think that whenever you have a team that has that kind of running back, it pulls away from the passing focusing on a passing game.
Well, I think you look at Monk and our offense getting prepared with Jamie Newman. I mean, dual threat quarterback. I don't know if it's possible that you plug and play Mathis in there, but I mean that's the path of least resistance at this point. I think
absolutely.
I mean, you're prepared with Jamie Newman, and Mathis has been there. I mean, even longer than Newman, so he has to know the plays at least as well as Newman did. So you plug and play, and we can keep the same game plan that we've been practicing. And like you said, if he doesn't go out there and light it up with his arm, at least you have the ability to run with the quarterback, which
Yeah. Well, I think what Georgia has to do is I think they have to come to the grips with the fact that, are they comfortable winning games 52-28 or 34-10 if the former means they have an offense that can go with the best teams in the country? Because when you go in the SEC championship, the college football playoff, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to face a team with an elite offense, and you got to be able to trade points. I'm not concerned about Georgia's ability to play field position, game manager football and beat the Kentuckys, the Tennessees, even an Auburn and a Florida on a good day. But against the Alabamas, against the LSUs, against the Clemsons with explosive offenses, you got to be able to trade point for point. And, we just have to have explosive playmaking ability from our passing game. But I do think, like that season that we had Todd Gurley and Aaron Murray, I think that's 2013. Mm-hmm. That was a really good offense. I mean, I thought that kind of style of offense was good enough for us to hang and bang. We just had an absolutely horrible defense. And I think that's what Kirby looks at is, gosh, I have to sacrifice so much on defense to get this kind of offense. And I think he just needs to come at it from the perspective of, we're going to attack people as opposed to trying to play conservative, game position, whatever. So
that hasn't worked for him. So
no. Well, no. I mean, you could watch in a game where me and Keith would text each other back and forth. Here we go with this prevent defense bullshit. Here it goes. Yeah. It's going downhill right here. And then sure enough, you can see it go right off the cliff. And you're like, there it goes. Playing prevent defense that's not preventing anything. Yeah. Now, I had a thought the other day that and I've thought about this on numerous occasions. Kirby Smart seems to have turned a corner, at least in my opinion, with bringing in a coach like Todd Monken. Yep. Because this is the first coach that he has brought to his program that has more coaching experience than he does.
Yep. Head coach.
He's coached. He's been a head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's played in the NFL. He's run offenses, an outstanding offense in every single one of those situations. And so I think that this is the one person that can look at Kirby Smart and go, "You're wrong."
And Matt Luke too.
We have to do it this way.
Yeah, Matt Luke is awesome. Yeah, it's definitely.
But Matt Luke is not an offensive coordinator. That's what I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the hiring of Monken, that whole situation and what they did with Coley. I think that was Kirby agreeing with the fans. Like a change has to happen. UGA is, we're prolific enough of a school to go out and make the hire that needs to happen to fix what is wrong with our football program.
I think it was even more than agreeing with the fans. I think he got pulled into Greg McGarry's office and got his cage absolutely rattled after that LSU game.
So, you know what that I can tell you what that conversation went like. I wasn't there, but I was there. And that conversation went like this. Hey, look, dude. We could do the same shit with Mark Richt.
Yeah.
We could do exactly
we did it.
We did this with Mark Richt. We brought you in to fix this problem. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where, and Kirby Smart probably went with, I need more money. And Greg McGarry went, I don't care. Go get who you want. We will pay them. Because when you bring in a Matt Luke, when you bring in a Todd Monken, those guys don't show up for peanuts. When you're talking about dragging away a coach from an NFL team, you're going to have to pay him something stupid. And I think that's what's happened. So,
yeah. Well, fellas, I'm about to jump off here.
All right, man. Thanks for jumping on, Daniel. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Have a good night. Oh, man. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I don't think that the Big Ten is going to play football at the caliber that we want. In my opinion, with the exception of maybe Ohio State and Penn State in certain years, every now and then Wisconsin, every now and then Michigan, you kind of look at that conference and you go, nah, that's one or two teams that's okay. And then they show up to a bowl game and get absolutely beat to death, drug up in that field, and you go, see, told you that they're not that good up there. So I think that the Big Ten coming in is going to be a good thing, but I think them playing against their own conference, I think the schedules are – I think the win-loss ratio is pretty much going to be the same as always been.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what would happen over there if Michigan would just get the gumption and make a coaching change there. But it's time.
Harbaugh.
Yeah. It's time. I mean, they're just right there. They're right there on the edge, but they just can't. I mean, this is like Mark Richt, 2.0 over there.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I would swear up and down they were brothers.
with the exception of the sleepovers, right?
I mean, it's crazy. It's almost the same thing,
Michigan,
Ohio State is just. I mean, it's just that hump they can't get over.
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't know if you saw the video earlier, but I posted that there's a 21-day gap from the day that they test positive. So you're going to miss 3 games for sure, possibly a 4th, because that's half the season for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're only playing 8 games. It's half the season. So imagine Justin Fields goes down week 2, right? What happens to Ohio State? I don't know who the backup is, but I bet he's nowhere near as good as Justin Fields. And if in the next week they're playing a Michigan or they're playing a Penn State and that team's ready to go, they're not going to beat them.
Yeah.
So now, and then that brings in the question of, well, does the committee take into consideration the COVID just like they do injuries, which I would think they would, but will they? I don't know. Because when you look at that long offseason that they're going to have between the college football playoffs and the national championship game, how's that going to work out? I don't know. It's just so much. Just there's no way to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, you look at a lot of the other sports, though. I mean, you look at baseball. I mean, right when baseball started, you had a couple of teams impacted pretty hard, but it's been pretty quiet. The MLS, pretty quiet. The NFL, fairly quiet. So, I mean, I think the numbers are trending down. I think the Big Ten used that as part of their justification as well. So, I mean, I think you might see a case here or there, but I think these schools have had especially with their QBs have had the talk that you need to stay safe, wear your mask, go here, go there.
Don't go here, don't go there.
Exactly. At least for these 2 months that you're going to be participating in sports, you need to. I mean, because like you said, I mean, there's so much. This was a financial decision for them, and that trickles down to these schools. Keeping Justin Fields on the field for Ohio State is a financial decision. I mean that I mean,
he's one of those players that you pay money to go watch him play.
Right. So I mean, I know that I don't know what their fan situation is going to be. I mean, I don't know if they're even allowing fans. I doubt it. But keeping Justin Fields healthy and safe is. I mean, not that it shouldn't be a priority in any time, but these guys are staying on top of where their players are. And goes back to what we were saying, last week about it's safer for these kids to be in this program than back home doing whatever it was they were doing. I mean, they're looking out for them,
Well, let's just look at it this way. These kids currently are being tested weekly, if not daily.
I was going to say, it sounds like the Big Ten might be testing them every few days or so.
Yeah. So let's be honest. If these kids are sitting at home, they're not going to get up off that couch and go down there like, well, time to go get them a test. No, they're going to do what they do. They're going to stay home. They're going to go to whatever, and they're not going to get tested all the time. Yeah. But I'm being at the school. They're definitely going to get tested now.
And they're in a protocol. They're in a protocol where they're being watched. I mean, you look at what's happening with the NBA. I mean, I know college isn't in a bubble, but you kind of are when you're on one of these campuses, and there's repercussions for breaking protocol. I mean, you've seen it in the NBA.
Oh, you've seen it in the NFL. They fired that one guy from the team.
That's what I'm saying. These kids, I'm sure, and I don't know what they've been told, but I can only imagine that part of coming back and playing was that we're going to have a protocol as a team that you're to not do these things. And like I said, be here or don't go there. And if you get caught breaking those, it's going to be a team rules violation, I'd imagine. And there's probably consequences.
Yeah. Now I would also imagine that when you've got these phenomenal players like Justin Fields, like Trevor Lawrence, you've got running backs like Zamir White, and Mac Jones, you got guys out there in college football that are household names already, right? And these are the leaders of those teams. The coaches of it, I guarantee you, had conversation with these guys, and they said, hey, look, there's only so much we can do as coaches. This is going to have to come from the player fan base. I mean, it's just going to have to. You've got to go out there and explain to these guys, like, hey, guys, if you guys want to play football, we can't be doing this. But let me also add this caveat to it. You could screw up me being a millionaire because I'm supposed to be a number 1 draft pick. Now, you say you care about me. You say you're my friend. Don't screw this up for me. I've been working my whole life for this. Stay your ass in your dorm. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's going on, Jags Nation?
I mean, it's just the point of it is that there's incentive with these kids being at school and they're actually being a football program. They're actually being a season. There's incentive for them to do right other than just staying healthy,
Yeah.
Whereas, without a football program, I'm not sure they have that. And so I think you're going to see, I don't think you're going to see some big outbreak at one of these schools. I think we're going to have a quality football season that was put together at the 11th hour. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Look what's happening with baseball. It's fantastic.
Well, I think that anytime that you have enough people, if you have enough millionaires sitting around the table that they go, this is going to affect how much millions of dollars I can make, and we all make, we've got to figure out a good plan immediately. And so when you've got that kind of emphasis on a problem, you can find a quality solution. I also think that the other big benefit for this is that these players, if they're at the colleges and there's such a high focus on infection, there's a focus on clean environments, there's a focus on being in the right place, doing the right things, that what's up? There's a focus on the health and welfare of the players. You also have players that every time they get a cough, a sniff, a little bit of a fever, they're hauling their butts down to the doctor and they're getting them taken care of right away. So I think that the health of the players overall in general, since they're in a controlled environment like that, is just going to be better off for the players anyway.
Yeah. I
What's
agree.
up, Mr. B? So yeah. So you got anything else you want to throw on the table there, Big Dog Keith?
No, I don't think so. I think we went over the big news of the day.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for me. Running on about an hour 10 here, and I got some other stuff that I want to do, hang out with the wife, whatnot, and look at some other sports stuff that will probably bore most people to tears, but it's what it is. So we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a great day. You know what it is. God bless. DD Whammo. Don't drive with your mask on. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Go Dogs.